Okay, let's try this port wine. Alright, so in this video, I'm going to talk about choices. Now, you don't have a choice of whether you want to pay your income tax or your GST, but you do have a choice. If you find that this wine is no good, you don't buy it again. So those of you who have been following me would probably be aware that I've changed barbers no less than twice, maybe even 3 times over the last 3 years. That's not usual because I stayed with one barber for more than 20 years. Why did I change? Happened at the beginning of this COVID 3 years ago, when I went to this barber shop which I've been visiting for the last over 20 years. And the barbers inside, uncles about 60 to 70 years old, they have been watching a lot of Douyin videos, they have been reading Weibo, they have been reading articles on Renmin Ribao, and they have also been watching those news items on Huanqiu Wang. And they came to the conclusion that the coronavirus is actually a product of the US CIA or whatever. All sorts of conspiracy theories, and they're talking about the new vaccine that's coming out, used to control Chinese people because America is jealous of China, blah 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 and all that. So I was sick of all that nonsense. I changed barber, changed to this Malay barber. I thought it would be very safe, I won't get that kind of nonsense, but I got a different kind of nonsense. So this Malay barber, he couldn't stop talking about Viagra, and he kept asking me, have you tried it? Does it work? Is it safe? So I've got this friend who died after taking Viagra. Actually, he didn't die from adverse reaction to the drug, but he died from overexertion. Anyway, I had enough of his nonsense and I changed to another barber, and then I forgot what's the problem with the other barber. I think there are a lot of smokers inside there, and the place was smelled very smoky, and so I left that place as well. Then I went to this place at North Shore Plaza, and I met this very young barber, young enough to be my son, definitely, about my son's age. And I found him to be very professional, and I also like his style. I just went to him, and so I stayed with him, and I will probably be staying with him until there's a reason for me to change a barber. And I do change when there's a reason for me to change. Strangely, there are some people who don't, right? They keep going back to the same stall, keep complaining about the stall, but they still vote, they still go back to the same stall. Really don't understand the irrational behavior following the so-called rational choice. Now, about many years ago when I was in secondary school, a bit of history there from a senior citizen, McDonald's and A&W first came to Singapore. Yeah. And during that time, these American fast food outlets, they were considered quite atas. I remember we had to tear a filet-o-fish apart and share, among friends. I can't imagine seeing that today among our secondary school kids. But, well, it happened that way. And when I went to the hawker center, the Queenstown Hawker Center near my place, the plate of chicken rice was only $1.20. And then years after that, when I went to NS, every time I booked out from Pulau Tekong and I landed at Changi Point Hawker Center, I would order a plate of chicken rice, and it was $1.50. So it has been quite a number of years, but the price increase has been gradual. So it increased in tandem with wages, and so people were not overly stressed by that kind of increases. We expected that, and we accepted that. But then at the start of the COVID pandemic, the chicken rice store opposite my home here in Punggol, chicken rice is going very cheaply at $3.50 plate. But after the lockdown, Causeway was closed and the price went up to $3.80. Again, that was understandable because the workers there, they rode their motorbikes from Johor every morning, and then they would park their motorbikes near the coffee shop, and in the evening when they knock off, they would ride their motorbikes back home to sleep. But with the lockdown, with the Causeway shutdown, they had to stay in Singapore. They had to pay for their rental here, their living expenses. So all that went up, and then the chicken rice price went up to $3.80. Again, understandable. But from then on, everything went exponential. So that's a bit of a shock because it didn't rise in tandem with our wages. And the other strange thing is that when I checked out a fish soup stall the other day, I'm looking for a substantial quantity of fish, all right, the kind that the amount that would prevent sarcopenia or even grow muscle, you know, the kind of amount of protein. You know how much that would cost? About $10 for a bowl of fish soup. And for $7 at Long John Silver, you can actually get an equivalent amount of fish in an equivalent amount of protein. So it just doesn't make sense anymore. In the past, these fast food outlets were the more atas place, and now hawker food has overtaken fast food outlets in terms of price, and the value of this hawker food is getting less and less, really, seriously. So, but all along I haven't been eating out much, maybe 80% home cooked, out of the rest of the 20%, 18% hawker food and 2% fast food. But now, again, changing circumstances, I have to do a bit of rebalancing and change my choices. It's going to be 80% home cooked and 10% hawker food and another 10% fast food. So fast food actually nowadays gives you better value for money. When you go for to have some KFC or Long John Silver, you actually get more protein gram for gram for that kind of price compared to your hawker food. So that's it. Why is it that people still keep going back to the stalls, taking photos, uploading, and complaining about the price? They could just change their choices a bit. You know, just do more home-cooked dishes, and that's Hunkle's secret to fitness and good health, apart from alcohol. So I hope this video has given you a bit of idea on what to choose when you go out to eat next, and hopefully those guys who keep keep patronizing the same stalls and complaining about them could shut up and do a little bit of self-reflection. Cheers.